for this team, strategy-wise. Renegades! Got Funballer, Raffer, Dardes, Cherio, Nika. I will say this. There are probably people out there doubting this team. There are people who have been watching people on this team who know people like Cherio had bad online connection. At LAN can be terrifying. This dude performs like he is a top, I'll say 3 for this entire list jungler at LAN. That's just how it's been for years. That's how it's always gone. He looks bad online, but he has really bad ping. He comes to a LAN and he just goes off. So, because this is a LAN, this guy, I believe, becomes much higher rated. Obviously, that could be completely not true when we get into it. Again, we'll have to wait for all the games. Fun baller, good ADC. I really feel like some of these guys that I talk about, their past teams that they've been on, the chemistry has not actually been there for them to overall do well. Fun baller with Raffer. I think he'll do good. Raffer, good support. Used to be called one of the best. People were giving him so much crap this past year for trolling, feeding, being an all-around awful support. Dude's better than what you guys think. Stop trashing him. Give him the respect he deserves as a support, as much as anyone else on this list. Good guy. And don't underestimate him. Period. May have disappointed some fans last year. But I'm telling you, you gotta remember that energy, the Epsilon Panthera team he was with, they'd been playing together for a while. They had chemistry. Give him time to get chemistry with someone. He's not gonna look like that. Give him time. Quit expecting things right away. He's good. Unbelievable. Some of the stuff I said, or I saw people say, I just couldn't about him. Just blew my mind. Dardes in the mid lane. Interesting. Dardes, that's a role swap for him that I think was made at the end, towards the end of last year. So this is going to be a little bit more of how comfortable has he gotten in mid? You know, at LAN, is he going to perform better? Is he going to perform the same? We'll have to wait and see. Cherio, already talked about him. You're a good guy. Anyway, Nika in the SPL, you know? By the way, this is a full EU team. Actually, I think this is the only full, this is the only full EU team that there is on this entire list. You have two full NAs, one full EU, rest are mixed. Keep that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of 10 teams, 3 of them are one region. Tells you something. Got Nika. I haven't personally gotten to watch him play solo lane, really. But I'm interested. I think he can do well. I definitely think with Cherio, especially at LAN, I think guys will be able to do perfectly fine. They just need to stay consistent. And it's like what you've probably been seeing people say on social media. This team is a dark horse. They have the potential to upset and take over and become consistently better than almost every single one of these. Period. End of story. They do. That's all there is to it. Team rival. This is actually a completely new team. No one on here is from last year's team rival. Arkeal, former Dignitas ADC, got the only penta that we saw at Worlds. It was insane to watch. This is the other number 1 or number 2 ADC on this list. This guy, just like Vote, is terrifying. There's a reason I said that these guys are terrifying to almost every single, because this duo lane is just as terrifying as this one. The Millsy versus Polar Bear Mike. This is the perfect NA support against EU support. These two against this is a perfect support matchup to watch. It's gonna be fun. These two teams playing against each other this lane It's gonna be insane. I'm telling you that right now. Arceal, number one, number two, number one, number two. Actually, Polar Bear Mike. Yeah, I'll keep him number one, number two, because this is on all on paper anyway. Polar Bear Mike. I mean, I've said about all I could about him anyway. About Arceal. Polar Bear Mike. Professor BM, as some may call him. The troll himself. Guy who gets on Twitter to meme, nothing else. I truly believe he's a lot like Emilzy. When these two, their playstyle, the way they play, it's like they could play with almost any ADC and do really well in their lane. It's insane. It blows my mind. One of the reasons it's terrifying. The other thing about Polar Bear Mike, this dude thinks so in depth about Smite, just like Twig does. Like, he's one of the guys you can sit there and go, he's not playing, he should be coaching. He just puts so much thought in his game. It's absolutely insane. And that's another thing that makes this terrifying. Like, the minds on this team, Twig obviously being another person who thinks so much when it comes to Smite, it's gonna be insane. Handicap. This is the one part on this team that we have to wait and see. Switching from ADC to mid lane this year. I think Pandicate pulled off just like other players that pulled off switching lane, like Baskin. Obviously it'll be a little interesting. Again, we're gonna have to wait after the first 3 weeks. We'll be able to tell. You know, is he gonna be extremely successful or is he gonna go back to ADC? We'll find out. I think he can do it. I really do. He's someone who pushes no matter what to get his position down. Yep, Twig. He's been considered a good jungler. Not the best or one of the like top best, but he's definitely obviously he's in this, but he's one of the best. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my nose is itching. Anyway, Captain Twig. Dude just thinks. The way he plays in a Panda Cat goes into the mid role very well. I think these two. I think you'll see the mid lane being pushed to win immediately between these two. Obviously he's gonna look to gank any lane. I still think dual lane is an important gank, but totem will have to wait. You know, you may have to prioritize the totem. You never know at this point. But his playstyle and everything he comes up with for jungle, season 6 is gonna be something. He's definitely one of the guys to watch. Then you have Final K. Final K, just a good solo laner. That's all there is to it. Every team he's played on, he's looked good. He's consistently high. He's someone that a lot of people have talked about possibly being one of the best solo laners, period. I definitely put him in the top 3 or 4. I don't know about top 2. But he's definitely good. And then you got Slaney coming into the coaching role, getting an opportunity coaching. Curious to see how his mind's going to work for strategies. Next is Dignitas. Go Dig. Team I'm rooting for this year. Yes, I'm a little biased, but I'm going to be fair with what I say about these guys. Ataraxia. Former Obey. ADC as Obey is no longer part of the SBL. This guy's good. I'll say he's probably the 3rd best ADC on paper on this list. Under Arceal and Vote. Obviously, he can. I'm saying this just as a ranking situation. I'm not saying that it's like a final. He can obviously play at these guys' level, and it's just based off of a little bit more struggling coming up at the end. It's definitely, I think, paired with Trix Tank, I think this is the lane that these guys might actually worry about. Then you got Trickstank. Trickstank being one of the more fun supports to watch, always has something up his sleeve, something he enjoys to play. Him and Ataraxia are playing together. I mean, you want to talk about an aggressive duo lane? Here you go. You know, Trickstank has his Fender support. He's got all types of things he likes to play support. You let him play aggressive support. You let Ataraxia play early ADC. This is a team this is a duo lane that will probably push your tower early. Period. End of story. Hurrywind. Hurrywind, the past couple years, has been in school and playing in the SPL. So, focus has been split. He's had moments where he looks amazing. He has moments where he looks garbage. But at the end of the day, he could aim into a consistent spot where he's always having like a certain stat line almost every game, it seemed. But now, especially being on this team with no school to focus on, I wholeheartedly believe that if this team chemistry comes together, Hurrywind becomes one of the top mid laners there is. Period. I think he will be putting all of his focus, all his practice time in Smite in the mid lane. I think you're about to see a new mid laner that just blows people's minds and that you have to worry about in the game. This is a guy that if he does do all this, you have to gank early. Can't let him get ahead, and staying even will probably terrify you too. Hugo Fred. Jungler, dude. This dude. I'll say this is the set. I'll say him and Adapting share the number 1, number 2 spot on this list of junglers. Period. Again, this is all on paper. This guy is insane. He has come in on this Dignitas team. He has come into his own as a jungler, as a powerhouse. He is so hard to deal with. He's good. Obviously, you can deal with him at some point, but this guy is not someone you can just lose sight of and not track in the jungle. If you have no way of tracking him in the jungle, he goes back to base. You don't have wards anywhere, and you never spot him, and you're a side lane, or you're the duo lane, or you're the mid lane, you need to be scared. It's like having Adapting come and gank you. You need to be worried. That's how these two are. You have to have vision on them. You have to have an idea of where they are. Then you have Variety. Again, sharing a spot with Deathwalker as the number 1, number 2 overall solo on this list. Dude's just good as his role. He always has been, always will be, most likely. He's just a beast. I mean, this is the guy who used to play tier and is just like, yikes. You know, I think, if I remember right, this is the guy, I mean, you wanted to watch play against Dimmy back when Dimmy was at the top of his game and in the SPL. This is honestly, we're just gonna say this is your number 1 team, number 2 team, number 3 team. But all 3 of these teams, it could switch instantly to number 1, 2, 3, at any moment. With Biggie returning as the coach for Dig. Again, another smart player being coach. Looking forward to seeing good things. Luminosity. And they went with a completely new team. Only 2 names you guys are going to recognize, but Joshy. I know almost nothing about this guy. I'm assuming it's an SML player coming up. I'm just going to be honest about this roster. I think this roster outside of Zalia is not going to compete very well. This is going to be a low tier roster unless they surprise me, which is very possible. Again, it's a LAN. But I don't know anything about Joshy. I've never heard of him. I'm sure he's an SML player. I just never really paid a whole lot of attention to the SML outside of certain players because I casted for Smite Prime. for a little bit, and I got to watch them. This is the first time I've seen his name. I feel like I should recognize him from somewhere else, but I could also just be completely forgetting. I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. So this is a complete dark horse wild card to me. Kiki has had his struggles in the past. He's back into the support role. No idea how these two are going to have chemistry. I hope he just performs well, like he used to. Ocean's in the mid lane. Ocean's, oh man, his past of the SPL is very interesting. He comes in. He was a sub, I think, for Luminosity last year. He just had a good game. In the ADC role. That's all there is to it. He had a good game. Whatever happened. I didn't really hear anything of him again. Here he is in the mid lane. Past performance tells me he'll be okay. He won't be great. He'll probably do what he needs to do. Just like I said, this team, on paper, I don't see this team performing very well. Azalea, I think, is going to do as good as he's ever done in the solo lane. He just may be discouraged about the overall team performance. We'll have to find out. Then Mollusk, jungle. Dude, getting his chance. If I remember right, he's coming from E. I want to say if I remember right, he's coming from you, but I feel like he's an NA player. To be honest, I don't remember. My memory sucks sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys. I think he's in a similar situation as Sam, though, where this is your moment to prove it. Get your chemistry with these guys. But don't think about looking bad. Focus on playing the game and winning, doing everything you can to help your team win. I don't care how bad you look. I don't care if people end up trashing you like they trash Weekend because they think you're worse than what you actually are. I don't care. Play what you have to play as the jungler to help this team win. Period. I mean, yes, that's obvious, but I'm saying it because this is something people need to realize when it comes to these, especially with all this new stuff for Season 6. This team, as much on paper as we can say, is probably going to be one of, if not the worst team in the SPL next year. Come out of nowhere and surprise everybody because they've been practicing together and it's a good season for them. Azalea, like I said, he's a good solo laner. He can compete and just do what he needs to do properly. Now, here's the fun part about this roster breakdown. Do you guys notice something about the coaching side? Yes, I'm getting a little louder because this actually ticks me off. Why do I not see this completely full? SPL rosters, orgs, I'm sorry. Coaching in Season 6 is going to be 10 times more important than it ever has been. Pay them, get them into, I don't care if you got to drag them out of EU, get them with your team. Now, if you want to say one of your players are a coach, that's fine. This is better for the outside perspective, not just the inside. You have a player coach, he is always in his position trying to coach around that. You need to get a coach. This isn't play around time. If you want a serious run at Worlds, get a coach. That's also one of the things that these teams already have over you guys. So, let's rate these rosters 1 to 10. I'm going to start with 10. Luminosity is 10. Automatic. I already told you why. On paper, this team just does not look like a dominant team. Let's see here. Number 9. Number 9 is probably going to be... Crap, I started from the wrong side. All right, we're going for number 1. Number 1, we're going to give it to the Pittsburgh Knights. Number 2, we're going to give to rival. Number 3, we're going to give to Dig. Those are your top 3 teams. Number 4, I'm going to give to Splice. Number 5, I'm going to give to Renegades because of the possibility of what they can do. 1, 2, 3, 5. I'll give you United 6. PlayStation 7, Perfecta 8. Wait. S. Oh, no. SK needs to be higher. F. All right, so I can't give everyone an exact number anywhere outside the top 3. F. All right, so yeah. 1, 2, 3. The one that's your 1 through 3 as of right now, and those can switch at any moment. I'm going to name this team 9 and this team 10. Base station is 8. SK is 7. And then we'll leave the rest the same where they were for your overall. I don't have numbers to put here, fortunately. Anyway, that is your roster breakdown for SPL Season 6. That thing, this ticks me off. You know, there's a reason games like League and whatnot have coaches on all their top teams. There's a reason for it, guys. Not mess around with this. Orgs, this is a message to you, your owners, your managers, whoever makes the decision to get a coach or not, get a coach. If you find yourself falling behind very hard to a team that does have a coach constantly, I'm going to point out a big reason why. Just saying, that perspective these guys are giving, especially with these guys having this coach allows them to focus purely on getting better at their position and scrimming and whatnot. It gives these guys the chance to watch during scrims, watch FODs, and to strategize for them, and then talk to them about it. It's a whole nother perspective. How this isn't advantageous or isn't required blows my mind. How does Hi-Rez or Titan Games, whichever one you want to call it now, not say, hey, we're putting in money for you to pay the coaches and bring them over? How are we? I don't understand how we're sitting here and minimalizing the importance of a coach on these teams. It's a MOBA. This requires strategy. It requires thinking. This blows my mind. Anyway, done with that segment.